How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Minus the Gym. I've got my mud water here, my new morning ritual. My dog Daisy is joining us. She's right behind me here. And I'm good to go to talk about handstands. Specifically, I want to tell you about 5 mobility drills that I've used on my handstand journey, and they have helped a lot, and I guarantee they will help you too. Alright, welcome back, and for anyone new to the channel, really quick, I just want to mention my name is Ryan. I'm a certified personal trainer, and I want to help you get in shape at home without relying on a gym or any fancy equipment. And really quick, I just want to mention that the Minus the Gym Tribe app is available, and currently it has 2 beginner programs in there, one with equipment, one without. And soon, within the next couple weeks, my entire handstand program will be in there as well. So if any of you are making 2021 the year of the handstand, let the Minus the Gym Tribe app help you out. All right, link is down below in the description. And the first drill that I want to explain for handstands, this has helped me a lot on my handstand journey, even though it might not look like it at the surface, is what I call standing pike to plank. Now, some people would call this inchworm, but inchworm is actually a little different, and I'll explain the difference later on. With the standing pike to plank, you want to start off in a standing position, and then you want to hinge your hips back, so you're bending forward, walk your hands down the fronts of your thighs all the way down to your feet, and then touch your hands to your feet or the floor in front of your feet the best you can, and then from there, you're going to walk your hands out all the way until you can lower down into a plank position. And then go ahead and just lock out that plank for a second and then step the hands back until your hands go all the way back to your feet. And then from there, you don't have to stand back up. You can just repeat by stepping the hands back out to a plank and repeat that for reps. The reason why the standing pike to plank is so good for handstands is really, well, there's multiple reasons. For one, you're warming up your shoulder girdle. All right, when you step the hands out like that, you're pressing into the floor in a sort of overhead position, and that's going to warm up your entire shoulder girdle, especially the serratus. All right, the serratus is responsible for scapular elevation. But then you're also activating the abdominals, getting those warmed up, and most importantly, this drill is going to help your pike flexibility. Okay, and pike flexibility is crucial and for many reasons for handstands, everything from kicking up to holding a good tuck to when you get advanced and you start working on press to handstand. So this is overall a great drill that I think is underrated. And also, when people talk about the inchworm is really similar. Okay, the only difference is with the inchworm, when you step out into the plank position, so you walk your hands all the way out to the plank, you're then going to follow that up by moving your feet. You're going to step your feet back up towards your hands. And then once your feet get as close as you can get them to your hands without hurting yourself, then you're going to walk the hands back out into a plank. And that's going to move you gradually forward as you perform the set. Now, there's nothing wrong with the inchworm. It's a great mobility exercise, but I personally find that when you're working on handstands specifically, just doing standing pike to plank back and forth like I showed originally, that's the better option. Okay, and the second mobility drill that I recommend for handstands is the prone body line drill. And the way you're going to do this is you're going to lie prone on the floor. That means face down on your belly. You're going to reach your arms straight out overhead, and you're going to reach forward like you're trying to press your fingertips to the wall way, in front of you. And then you're going to do the same thing with your legs. You're going to extend the legs out and, point with those toes, like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your toes. And then lastly, you're going to activate posterior pelvic tilt. And the way that we do this is think of like you're trying to put on a tight pair of jeans. You're just going to suck it in. And when you suck it in, when you suck in your belly like that, that's the transverse abdominis activating. And do that while squeezing the glutes, all right, the muscles in your butt. And you're going to feel a space created between your belly and the floor. And that's how you know that you've activated posterior pelvic tilt. Now from there, you can just hold this as an isometric exercise, holding that posterior pelvic tilt and the scapula elevated and the thighs activated, your feet pointed. Holding this alone in an isometric contraction will help you with your handstand line, but also what you want to do is perform this for reps. So as you're laying there prone, you can activate posterior pelvic tilt and then relax, and then activate and relax. So there's 2 ways to do it. I do both, But I'd say just make sure you hold them isometrically and work on endurance, because ultimately that's what you're going to be doing when you're holding a handstand and you're upside down. You're going to be in this exact position, activating posterior pelvic tilt, but you're inverted. And drill number 3 is unsupported back to wall handstand. The way I like to do this is to kick up in a back to wall handstand. So my back is to the wall and I'm using it for support. And then one at a time, I lift my feet off the wall. And it might take multiple attempts, but you just keep trying until you can get both feet off the wall and hold a handstand just inches away from the wall. And it's there. The wall is always there to catch you in case you lose your balance. I like this drill for multiple reasons. For one, you're holding yourself upside down in a handstand, so you're activating your serratus anterior, you're building strength there in scapular elevation. But also, you can activate all 3 of the cues that I've taught in my how to balance a handstand video. I say push, tilt, point, right? You're pushing with the serratus, you're activating posterior pelvic tilt, and you're pointing those toes and tensing the thighs, right? You can activate all those cues, and you can practice holding a freestanding handstand without the fear of falling. So this drill is especially good for people who are now working against the wall, but you have not yet moved out into the open and doing those kick-ups out in the open. So if you're at that point, then the unsupported back to wall handstand, or some people will call it back to wall handstand with lift-offs, because you're like lifting your feet off the wall. Whatever you want to call it, it's a great drill. All right, now number 4 is actually more of a strength builder than for mobility. So I guess I should mention that because it's really not correct to call these mobility drills. But this is a fantastic drill. And the reason why I like this drill is because it's going to build serious strength in your serratus, and it's also going to teach you total body tension, and it's called wall walks. So with wall walks, you want to basically walk up the wall into a chest to wall or face to wall handstand. And then once you get there, lock everything out. All right, remember that's push, tilt, point, and then start walking right down the wall. And you can go all the way down to your feet are on the floor. Some people just walk down into a diagonal plank with their feet still on the wall. Whichever is fine, but I actually go all the way down the wall and then kind of reset and then repeat for reps. Do not underestimate wall walks. All right, this exercise might not look super difficult to some people, but then like for me, I saw it and I was like, oh, I can do that. But then when I first tried it, I could not believe how difficult it is. And really, there's many degrees of doing wall walks, right? When you first start, your body's gonna be sagging all over the place. You're not gonna be maintaining that total body tension. But as you work on it and practice it, you're going to build, core strength. All your stabilizers are going to strengthen. You're really going to strengthen your serratus for that overhead pressing. And what you're going to find is that when you have been working on these for a while and you can maintain that total body tension, that is the main benefit of the wall walks. It's not about the number of reps so much as the quality of your reps. You want to maintain your body line as much as possible while walking up and down the wall. All right, and drill number 5 is kick-ups. Sounds super simple, right? But I think this is a fabulous drill. And this is more for the people who you're now moving away from the wall, right? You still use the wall for your training, but you're ready to start practicing kicking up out in the open. All right, and this is especially for people who can kick up, and sometimes you can lock out your handstand, but most of the time you're falling and you're losing your balance. And you're wondering, how do I get consistent? Well, practicing your kick-ups is going to be the way to do it. And the way that I recommend you do this is you place your hands on the floor and you get into a pike. Get really focused on the cues, right? The push, tilt, and point that you want to activate. And you actually want to try activating some of those cues while you're still in your pike before you kick up. And then go ahead and launch up. Try to lock out that handstand when you get up and inverted, and then let yourself fall right back down. Don't try to hold the handstand for any amount of time. After you come back down to the floor, you reset. I typically do an extra couple hops to reset, and then I launch right back up and I try to lock out another handstand. At first, this is gonna feel impossible. You're not gonna be able to lock out any handstands, but what you're gonna find is the more you practice, the more consistent you're gonna get. And once you get to that point where you can lock out like 3 to 5 in a row, then your accuracy on kick-ups, for holding a legit handstand is gonna be much better. Okay, so some of you might be like, Ryan, how many reps, man? You always do this. You tell us what to do, but not how many times. And I actually don't like prescribing numbers because it depends on where you're at as an individual. But I will say that I typically aim for the 5 to 10 rep range, and that's on the ones that that have reps, right? Like the wall walks, the standing pike to plank, etc. 5 to 10 reps in a set is a good range, and I typically just do 2 sets of these, all right? And I use them as part of my warm-up. If you haven't seen my calisthenics warm-up video, I will put a link on the screen, and I'll drop a link down below probably. But as part of my warm-up, drills are included after you warm up your joints and you get your blood flowing. So I would do, run through at least a couple of these, whichever ones are relevant to my current place in my training, and I would do 2 sets, typically 5 to 10 reps. And if it's a hold, an isometric hold, like the prone bodyline drill, then I just do a max hold, basically. I just see how long I can hold it for. All right, thank you so much for tuning in and hearing me ramble on and on about handstands. I hope one of these drills, or hopefully multiple of them, are something that you haven't tried yet and you want to add to your training. If so, please hit that like button, all right? Because that helps me out in return. YouTube seems to really enjoy seeing that. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And if handstand is on your list of goals right now when you're watching this, then make sure you check out the handstand playlist on my channel. I have, I think, like 8 videos now or more that take you step by step through the journey, so you can use the exact path I used to learn the handstand. And don't forget to check out the Minus the Gym Tribe app, because I'll be teaching handstands in there as well. All right, I'll see you later.